I was thinking about it. I was thinking of your behaviors. You see, you don't change academics in Europe. You will not change heads of school in Europe for sciences, whether they're Polish, Egyptian, Russian, Saudi Mir, after the Hague. You don't change Marta Svarta, there's one of the cousins. You don't change what you lost on your own coastlines. I remember how easy it is to kill, how easy it is to be a bully. Because that girl went through the Hague. When problem, there's consequences for the losses on the coastlines, 221. So this delayed response of yours is from Fresno or from others, but it's not a question that you're showing how stupid the US is or how bullyish it is. It really doesn't take much. It's almost like going to a backward country and saying, oh well, the Hague happened, and then you have the cheerleading squad who wants to kill the child. This is not how they operate. This is not what they planned. It's not a question that they didn't plan the Hague, but they did something out of it, meaning they left a void. Meaning, who gained and who lost in the US from the death of the scientists or others on the coastlines? The Hague. Because you know that the Hague, when I told you there's a ship to yacht, when I told you the Hague and I was a pinup girl, you know, you cannot be such a pestiferous little piece of shit that you can't. If a pestiferous Disneyland around the capital cities connects the dots, who has to go about already knows that, and that's the old news on the news, and you still have pretenses, it tells me you're retarded as a nation. You see what I'm saying? If they're saying to you, there's a Scotland film, I read the Robo by now for Disneyland to stay enrolled for retirement, you know, they're not joking. So, and then you send your psycho cheerleaders. You're wasting your country within your own soil for your stupidity. It's not a question of what you hate or what you don't like. If you cannot reopen that shit on the coastline, no academician of scientists is going to reopen it for you. Ha ha! Robin Hood, Nigeria. That's all news on the news. So, now that you know what your country is, within its own soil, the CIA had that intel long ago on the flyings and runnings of that girl. Eventually, they could see it coming. And if they see it coming within their own soil, you have a big problem on the coastlines. But if that's how you want to find excuses for your behaviors, it's not even a question of civil behavior anymore. It's just a question of staying out. Again, it's delayed response, these guys, because many are for Fresno. If you're going to find cheerleaders or Jewish psychos or white psychos or chulas or anyone who has gripes, it doesn't really matter. If you bring back a girl from the Hague as a particular Disneyland corn cob, then you start comparing yourself to her, and you don't understand what she was in science. But in the US, they don't care where you're from. You know, bitches and whores, assholes, and people who don't think, people who have their own personal fucking problems. Just but 9 billion people on this fucking planet. Fucked up. What are you sending? Yeah, hello. They think that I'm Mother Teresa Calcutta. So, hey, let's go Albania, man. Let's do the Italian job in Rome. But now, come on, this is Scotland film. Nah, you don't have to use Albanians, you know. You know what I'm saying, you know? Ma porca puttana, Disneyland, ma pure col culo de vorio. Sure, phenomenal science, when I come back. Great, but... No, that's not even mentioning the parents. Oh, dear. Yeah. That's not even mentioning the parents. Yeah. So you see, the parents, the verbal vitriol going out of friends, conditions of society, intelligence of friends. No, people are seeing this shit for what it is. You know, you have to speak about all the complex sciences you want to keep them coming back. So, you know, you're blubbing out of your ass, all those things, come back as a phoenix from the ashes and a particular corn cob and say to me that that's unusual, especially if it's Delph, Disney mode. Now, if there is something else like the blues, well, that's heavy sciences. And for that, you would actually have to talk to the scientists, because I tried to explain it to you and you sent psychos after me. So quite frankly, no thanks. Come on, come on. I was not even mentioning Bob and Mom and Phil. Oh, come on. So, Papa had an injection in the lower part of his tummy. He did not have anemia. Almost 76 years old. And Mama got literally kidnapped. She didn't have dementia. And they got her out to Poland and Poland to Russia. And the reason, you see, the house was under my name, everything. There's there one kid, tissue breath. The easy life, my darling, all your crawlies and little crawlies, all the pains around the cavity, because after all, you don't have brain like you used to before. After the Hague, to the one Hague, no. See, no. Okay. So as I was saying, I don't want to sound like a bitch or anything, but stop comparing the apples and oranges. I don't know. So, I know it's ambitious. Even the CIA, come on. You gotta go to prison and finish that shit long ago for the band. And that shit on the what's time. You could keep complaining about it. Wait a minute. There's a reason why they call it Holy Grail. I give you that shit before, and then eventually what you do? Or flying to the mountains, or runs to the hills. What do you do eventually? You lost the shit on the ghost lines. The fucking PhDs in Harvard, Princeton, Yale, can't open that shit. They're not gonna bring back Disneyland and say it never existed. You got German airspace speaking about it, you got Italian Las Vegas, you got the UN corporation, you got the Brits talking about inner circles, you got the Russians, you got Arabs, and I come back there, so then I'm saying, hello, I was a mermaid. And you're still fucking complaining about that shit in Disneyland. Guys, they say you're pulling your leg in town with a pin-up girl with Disneyland. Fuck you. Well, I'm more intelligent than you. I'm on leaning sciences. I'm this. I got PhD. I got watching that shit on television with the Jewish Zionist shit. And I'm gonna sideways these really Jew. Oh, fuck you. No, U.S. Fuck's sake. Disneyland knows this shit around the capital city. I don't even care. Look, if they made a prostitute out of me, finally. The usual, spies out there who are decent to me, and here we have the psychos. No. Therefore, I've stopped caring how sometimes the rollies. I say, you know what? At your own risk and peril, you want to be stupid. And I'm not asking for this shit. You are the ones who are playing with the fire. I'm not playing with anything. I'm not gambling. I'm not playing. I'm not nothing. Shit, I'm telling it to you straight up. By now, every motherfucker on the planet knows about it. It's not that you have to get offended by something I said, because the whole fucking world said it. If I say it, you don't give a shit. The whole fucking world say it, you don't give a shit. The fuck's wrong with you? Use your brains and not your asshole. In your own country. And don't complain about the shell no go slides. I'm not going to be looking at you. Why do I? As long as you don't understand that, when you understand that in those countries, the same girls can't afford even a car. You have a pimped up car. The same countries that you come from around the world. Yes. You see, if you're a sport brat, you're a sport brat. You're not going to push yourself. You can say I'm a sport brat after the Hague, in a sense I'm not the same girl. But I still had to connect to those who were to the balls. And that's not even mentioning the virus. Exactly. When they say what you can. That shit's anyway you're worried on the ghost lines. What about the virus? Yeah. So, that's not even a question. No, that's not a question. So, trying to see, everyone's known for what they are. Somebody does something historic, you're still fucking denying it. You can't have the fucking Chinese on my ass and the UN still speaking about the dead baby. Phenomenal with a hate. What's up, fucking retarded? Yeah, you wear it. And bring back this, and then they say there's blues. Oh, phenomenal. Okay. So ask any American girl here with a PhD how intelligent a little pig of drugs. Hey, I smashed your head and I'm going to bring back pink and blues. Pink is easy, blues. How do you do that? So smash the net on the ghost lines. Come on, this is only eggs. I'm not Jewish, motherfucker. Which would explain perfectly well. After the Hague on the ghost lines and the losses of Intel, they created something new somewhere else for those scientists. And literally, And it's a byproduct of stupid times, as the Germans would say, because that's what that guy was actually good at. Shit. Sorry. They say I'm still good at sciences. And so I see women competing with me. They just compete. I'm betting you. I'm betting you. My God, so jealous and envious. I make the rounds of the world, just colloquially. Even the fucking homeless people looking at this shit. I'm doing the literal trekkings around the capital city. Like, fuck it. And you're still speaking about power games, the sciences, the power games, the president, intelligence for the balance of retirement. What power games? Piece of shit. Yeah, in your minds. But that's takes Disneyland to tell you that culo de vori. It's self-installed. By now, I don't know even if you need an education. Grazie. Momento. In other words, I know I sound bitchy, but you know, there's a Scotland film on Radio Global by now. And you're tired of the, yeah. And so if you think that the US is perfect, imagine if this had happened in Russia or in China. No, like seriously. I see it coming from the US on the coastlines of China or Russia, and a bunch of scientists are made up. Shit's void. And sciences, corporations, oh shit, corporations, oh shit. You have a Little Mermaid. Most of them are men. Fortunately, this one was female. And in fact, being water creatures, that was the main pin-up girl after The Hague. Now, we find that to be disgusting. But according to our standards, but then again, you have your own in the US, so yeah, that's so intelligent. Yes. And down to that's still not Fresno for the Barons of Retirements. It takes so much of an education to figure this out. As I was saying, they're born in pioneer counties beyond the capital city, so that's the beauty. That's the beauty that allowed them to become D1s. That allowed them to work as humanitarians, dropping aid all over Africa, Asia, South America, and Africa. Also, near the retirements became as you are. And CRS, USA, and WN, both of them are D1s. They had D2s after a few years, they became D1s. A beautiful little office there. The people in the UN, Rome, London, Western Europe, the Russians, the Arabs, and of course Grandma, who was Turk, that I didn't meet. They say I'm the missing link. And so now is what we call the fun part for me, because I'm Disneyland. You know, when they say your life is easy, because after The Hague you're not much of a culo de varis. And of course that's only pink. Of course, I'm trying to explain those to that. Because technically speaking, when you smash somebody's head on the coastlines of those kinds of scientists, well, you know, it is actually not the same person, pink. And then the blues. Well, you could say that, considering that she was the mermaid, and considering that we had such a close flags running together around the world, and our characteristic was so watery, that eventually they brought back pin-up girl. And considering that they made a comedy out of this shit, which I found to be awful disgusting. But, you know, what can you do? Oh shit, I mean, there's a Hague, and there's a Hague. I'm not Jewish. I did come back. Pink and blues. Get it? Get the joke. Good. That was a nice pun to it. Anyway, considering that that's a little point, that's a little soul for those scientists and others, with the pin-up girl, it's old news on the news. So obviously, if you can see it coming from China, the pretenses are yours. And I'm going to start, brown-nosing and butlering you. Fuck you. I'm butlering for the barons. I'm doing the Crawleys, little Crawleys for the barons. But you have a father, a mother like that, you'd fucking die.